Wait a minute, what? The cameras are rolling. We're live. Oh, don't mind me. Nothing was happening there. Welcome to the IronSmithy new player guide to Sea of Thieves. When you first start the game, you will be greeted with the maiden voyage. There is an option to skip it or continue through. I highly suggest that you continue through and do not skip it. This is the first voyage, the tutorial of Sea of Thieves, and there is so much information that walks you through all the basics of the game, from how to eat to how to kill to how to sail and repair your ship and everything else along the way. It is a phenomenally put together tutorial. Make sure you guys go through it, follow along, follow the story, listen to the NPC that guides you through, take in everything you can, because every bit of it will help you in your journey on Sea of Thieves. Once you've completed the maiden voyage, you will always start at an outpost like this. The outpost is the source of everything you will do in the game. It is a source of where you will pick up your emissaries, where you will collect supplies for your ship, where you will purchase quests to do with your crew or by yourself, and where you will turn all your loot in at the end of your voyages. When you first arrive at your outpost, you will want to supply your ship with all the good supplies that will be found in barrels like this one. These up here, and anywhere else that you see a barrel, box, or anything that says that you could open. Inside these barrels, you will find a variety of supplies. Everything from cannonballs, which is pretty straightforward. It's going to do damage to players and to the ship that you're fighting. Cursed cannonballs, which will cause a status effect essentially to the ship, whether it's a rigging ball that will raise all the sails of the enemy ship if it's hit by it. A peace ball, which will raise all the cannons and make them inoperable, to jig balls, anchor balls, all different type of cursed cannonballs, and the description when you mouse over is provided for each one of them. After that, you will see blunder bombs and fire bombs. Blunder bombs are essentially the grenades. You throw them, they create an explosion. They will send pirates back, interrupt them if they are shooting. Where fire bombs will set an area on fire, whether it's NPCs, players. If you throw it on a ship, it will set the ship on fire. Very good for controlling certain aspects of the game or buying yourself a little bit of time while you're reloading your gun to keep continuous damage going on an enemy. And then you have the chain shots, which primary purpose is to knock down the sails of an enemy ship and allow you to either get away or get into a position to engage them without them being able to run from you. And then we come down to food. So bananas are your lowest form of food. They provide very little healing. Your next step up is coconut, which will give you moderate healing. The best common ones that you can get for food for healing advantage is mangoes and pomegranates. Pineapples are going to be your number one source of food without having to cook. Your number one source of raw food that you can have is pineapples. And within the supply crates as well, you will also find grubs, earthworms, and leeches. This is used for fishing. And lastly, you will pick up some wood planks, which is used to repair your ship, your masts, your wheel, your capstans. Everything revolving repairs is done with wooden planks. On each outpost, there is 4 main factions. There is first your merchant that you will find on the docks of every outpost. These focus primarily on cargo runs and animal search and return missions that you will be able to turn in for gold and reputation with this faction. Next, you will have the gold hoarder. Will look like this. It will have a green tent with a gold key on it. This emissary focuses on everything shiny, from treasure chests to gold trinkets to chalices to anything gold or shiny related. You could turn into the gold hoarder here and claim their gold and reputation as well. Then you will have the Order of Souls emissary, located by the purple flags with the white eyes on them. When you enter in, you will always find the emo tryhard, and all your skulls can be turned in here for gold and reputation with their order. Lastly, you have the Reaper's emissary, located with the red tattered cloth and the skeleton in the cage. Once you approach, the skeleton will start to move, and you will see the table below where you can choose to represent the Reaper's Bones emissary. Huge disclaimer here: should you choose to run Reapers as your emissary, every ship on the server can see you just like this. The whole purpose around Reapers is to sink player ships, to capture their emissary flags and turn it all in here at Reaper's Hideout. As a Reaper, once you arrive at Reaper's Hideout to turn in your loot, there is only one location to go. There is a large tent on the lower island. There is one NPC in here. This is where you will turn in any of your loot from the Reapers. And his Reaper's table is right here. Once you have selected the emissary that you wish to represent, you will go to their respective emissary tables and you'll push the corresponding key to be able to represent that emissary and get a notification just like this. The Reaper's emissary table is located just at the base of the skeleton. The Gold Hoarder's emissary table is located just to the left of him outside of his tent. And the Order of Souls emissary table is located on the inside. As soon as you walk in the tent to the left-hand side, you'll see the Order of Souls emissary table. Now for your ship. There are 3 ships in the game currently. There is the Galleon, designed for a 4-player crew, has 4 cannons on each side, 3 sails, and 2 levels below deck. Then there is your Brig, a 3-person recommended crew for that ship, 2 cannons on each side, 2 sails, and only 1 deck. And then there's the sloop, designed for 1 to 2 players, 1 cannon on each side, and 1 sail. This is your sail length trim. This is what allows your sails to go down and up. Then you have your angle pulley. This is what turns your sails left and right to make sure that you always are able to catch as much wind as possible. Then you have your capstan. The capstan is how you raise and lower your anchor. Your cannons on the left and right side. You must have cannonballs in your inventory in order to be able to load them and fire the cannons. One of the best tips I can give you is if you have multiple cannonball types, as I do right now in my inventory, if you want to quickly switch between them, you hold down Q while you're holding onto the cannonball, and it will bring up a radial wheel that you can choose all your cannonball types on the fly as you're engaging another ship. Below deck, this is your map table. This is the only place in Sea of Thieves where you can see a map, see who's on the island, see what is around, where you have to go, and how you have to navigate. There is a compass in the bottom right hand corner so that you can see what direction you need to head to. You can mark islands on the map by hitting your interact button over top of whichever island you are over, and this will help mark it to be able to reference it faster. Once you get the heading on the map that you want, now you want to match that with the compass at the wheel, as you can see in the middle of the screen. I currently want to go southwest, so I will line that up with southwest. I will straighten the ship back up, and you can hear there's an audible clunk. That is when you know your ship is pointed straight. Throughout your journeys, megalodons like this may spawn. There are multiple colors of megalodon. If you choose to engage them, with every bite that they do to your ship, they put in multiple holes and can be a lot for a new player to manage. I highly suggest starting out that you avoid them. You could do so by approaching a nearby island. As soon as you get to a nearby island, they will in fact despawn and leave you alone. As long as you don't shoot them or provoke them in any way, most times they will also leave you alone unless they're feeling extra feisty. Now, once you are on your course, your ship is headed straight by hearing that audible clunk. You will then look up at the wind. You can see which direction it is going, and then you want to use your angling pulley to set your sails into the wind for full billow. On the sloop, when you are looking to confirm your location, instead of running down to the table every time, you can actually look right over the back deck, and you can actually see your map and where you are relative to the location that you have chosen. On your ship's main sail, you will always see a ladder. The sloop, it's pretty easy. It's the only sail you have. On the galleon, it is your middle sail, and on the brig, it is your rear sail that will have the ladder that will bring you up to your crow's nest. Atop the crow's nest, you get to enjoy some of the most beautiful views in Sea of Thieves. And also, it is where your ship flag box is contained. Disclaimer once again, as with the Reaper's emissary, should you choose to fly the mark of the Reapers, you will be notifying everybody on the server where your ship's location is again, and be most likely hunted throughout your journey in Sea of Thieves. So avoid this flag unless you enjoy pain and suffering. Ahead of me, you will notice that one ship is lit up like a Christmas tree. The other one is all a single color orange lights. This represents the one with all the multiple colors is a PvE skeletal ship. The other one is another player just like yourself out in Sea of Thieves. The biggest piece of advice I could give you here is never trust anybody. This game is called Sea of Thieves for a reason, and most pirates feel exactly that way and will try to steal everything that you've worked for. All right, now to discuss weapons. So the first weapon I want to talk about is the sword. The sword, as a new player, is going to be one of the most useful tools to you in all aspects of the game. It is going to help you with movement, navigating through water, navigating around your ship, avoiding enemy fire, blocking NPC skeletons, and causing damage all along the way. What I mean by this and how it can help with movement is there's a technique called a sword lunge. You can straight up hold down your swing button, it will charge up, and you will move forward like that. But to truly master the sword lunge, you want to actually hold down block first, activate your sword lunge, and then jump to get maximum distance, as opposed to just your standard lunge. Now, how you actually execute this, there's an audible cue for when you want to jump. So step by step, this is how it goes. First, you will hold up the block button. Next, you will hold down the button to activate the sword lunge. And then the third part to this is jumping. Now, the jump needs to be timed perfectly. So you want to jump when you hear the audible cue of the sword moving forward. So it makes like a shing sound. Yep, perfect sound effects, right? And when you hear that sound, that's when you want to hit your jump button. So first, block. Second, sword lunge. Audible cue, jump. So now I'll do it without talking so that you can listen for that audible cue of the sword moving forward. So there it is. So you can hear as the sword moves forward, it makes that shing sound, and as long as you hit your jump button, as that audible cue is going off, you will be able to hit the sword lunge jump every time. And that will provide you maximum distance and will actually allow you to jump over the sides of your ship onto other ledges. Just like that. And vice versa from the land back onto your ship. The more you practice this, the more you do this, it will provide you with more opportunities to manage different situations, to either get away from enemies, get to your ship faster, and so many other scenarios. The other place where you can use the sword lunge is when going through the water. As you swim, it slows down your movement speed significantly. So you can see, like, we're moving, we're moving, we're moving. We look backwards, we've only gone this far. Now, if you were to do a sword lunge into the water, you will get so much more distance. So again, we block, we start the lunge, jump, and then look how much further we've gone in a quarter the amount of time. So mastering the sword lunge is is something you want to start practicing as soon as you can to get comfortable with it. Now, the last trick to the sword is that it also provides you with a dodge ability. This is only available when you have the sword equipped. So again, if you block, you're moving left or right, whatever direction you want to dodge in. So let's say we want to dodge left. We're going to hold down our left directional button. We're going to hit space and boom, we jump over to the side. Same thing if we want to do it right, we push our right directional button, hit space bar, and we dodge to the right. Same thing works forwards and backwards. If we're moving backwards, we hit spacebar, we're going to do a little bunny hop back. And same thing forwards, hit the spacebar, we do a bunny hop forwards. Where this comes in handy is, let's say there is an enemy, whether it's a skeleton or a player in front of us. He's raising his gun to shoot us. We want to get in behind him without catching any damage. We're going to move. We're going to jump behind him, and then we're going to attack him. And that's one of the ways that you can avoid taking damage and gain the advantage over enemy players or NPCs. The next weapon we'll talk about briefly, just to break it down, is the Eye of Reach. This is essentially your sniper rifle. Definitely not as detailed as the sword. Mastering this can come in quite handy, as you can engage from far distances with the scope. Where the cracks all line up in the center obviously is your aiming point. The more you practice with this and leading targets as they're moving and everything, and hitting shots with the sniper rifle will gain you an insane advantage at long range over other players. The next weapon to talk about is your pistol. This is your all-around mid-range weapon. Has great aim. It is ideal for all situations that you will come across, and is the perfect weapon for any new player to start with. And lastly, we have the blunderbuss. The blunderbuss is the shotgun of the game. You will see how it has a wide spread of bullets, so there is zero accuracy with this, but it excels at point blank combat. Great for bosses in PvE, great for people boarding your ship. If you see or hear somebody coming up the ladder and they come up, you shoot them point blank. Most times you will kill them in one shot, or they will be very, very close to death. Follow up with a sword strike and they will die. As you're sailing the seas, you will see clouds in the sky that will take different forms, like this one ahead of us. This one here, should you sail to it, will bring you to a active fort in the game, where there will be different waves of skeleton concluded by a boss fight that will result in a key that will open a vault up to give you a lot of loot. This is soloable with practice, as you have to manage multiple skeletons and PvE engagements throughout the entire fight. But once you complete the entire thing, it provides a good amount of resources and loot to turn in. There can only be one event like this in the sky at a time, so there will either be a skull like this with green eyes, a fire tornado which will represent the Ashen Winds event and boss. There will be Flameheart's skull in the sky, which will represent a fleet of ghost ships that you would have to sink through multiple waves to be able to get a ton of loot and resources as well. And these are all world events that are in the game that are constantly rotating and changing. Okay, behind my ship here, you can see there's some seagulls floating in the sky. This will either indicate a pile of barrels, which contains supplies and a little bit of treasure, or it can also signify a sunken ship. If you are able to, if you don't have somebody chasing you or trying to kill you, it is always worth stopping, as you could get fish right like this, and some shark meat that is already cooked, which gives you some of the best healing, like I mentioned earlier in the game. And alongside of it, there's always a little bit of treasure, so you can pick up this gem, stack it up on your ship. There's also a treasure chest right there that we can pick up. Now, with practice, the most efficient way to pick up any loot that you see in the water, whether you've sunk a ship or you come across barrels like this, is with your harpoon at the front. Just come across, hit your action button, aim, and attempt to pick it up. Now, this obviously requires a ton of practice. The ship is rocking with the waves. Your aim's going to be all over the place. But it is definitely the easiest way. You never have to get out off the ship, which means you don't have to worry about if there's sharks in the water that could kill you or anything. You can pick up your supplies. Once you're done, you could either release it by slicing it with your sword, or you could just action it again. You could pick it off in this case. Like if it's a chest, you could actually pick it up and put it on your ship. But if it's a barrel, you could just release it again with the same button. The same button you use to fire it will release it as well. Or like I said, you could look at it, nope, don't want anything there, slice it with your sword, bam, it drops it. When operating the cannons or the harpoon, your first tendency on PC is going to be to try to move it left, right, up and down with your mouse, but you can see how sort of slow this is. The best way to navigate your cannon is with your W, A, S, and D keys. It allows you to maneuver it much more quickly in much larger spans than using your mouse. And then you can sort of use your mouse for fine tuning, but always use WASD to move left, right, up and down on the harpoons and on the cannons. It is just so much easier if you are a PC player. While sailing Sea of Thieves, you will also notice a little sea post such as this. It is marked with the tall post with the beacon on top. This is for the 5th faction in the game called Hunter's Call. Here you can turn in all your meat from either chickens, pork, sharks, kraken, any type of meat or fish that you get in the game can be turned in here to the representative just like this. You could also turn in gems to them to raise the reputation with Hunter's Call. In Sea of Thieves, one of the other threats you have to watch out for is these gunpowder barrels. Yes, you can use them to your advantage, but they can also cause you great harm. Skeletons will try to blow you up with these. Players will try to sink your ship with these, and they can do so with just one keg on a ship. If a player was to sneak on with one, can kill you and your ship before you even have time to come back from the Ferry of the Damned. An example, if somebody was able to get this keg onto your ship, let's say right here, light it, run up, and get off the ship, they live, and your ship takes catastrophic damage. If you were to not see this and still be on your ship, you're most likely dead. You have this many holes in here, and you're not going to be here to repair it. Many of you are thinking now, well, IronSmithy, what if I just take it and I put it up in my crow's nest? Then I'm safe. That is actually false. You put it up in your crow's nest, and it can be sniped while you are sailing, moving, or in any scenario if the player coming across you is good enough. Let's say you have it there, the player's in the water, there's a ship, you know, in front of you, and he decided to drop somebody off the back of the ship, and he's waiting for you in the water. All he's got to do is pull out his sniper from under the water, clip it, and boom. Your mast is now down, your ship is on fire, you are immobilized in the water. You may have survived if you were driving the ship, but now there is a ton of panic, and that is going to give him the opportunity to come up, board the ladder, kill you while you're on the wheel or running around trying to put out the fire, and watch your ship slowly sink. Now you have a fire on your ship. You don't have any holes in your ship, so how do you put it out? Do you jump into the water and grab a bucket of water? Yeah, you could if you're not moving, right? And you could throw it down. Or the safer option is run downstairs. On every ship there's always going to be a water barrel. You could scoop it out with your bucket, push B as in Bob to open up to bring your bucket out quickly, and then you could fill it up. Once the water barrel is emptied, let's say you come here, there's no more water in the water barrel. How do you refill it? Hit the action key, whatever that is, whether you're on Xbox or on PC, it's F. You open that up, fill it back up, and then you're good to go for 3 more rounds with the water barrel. Now let's say you're sailing across the seas, you got a long voyage ahead of you, you're sort of bored, you're jumping around the ship and everything, you're maybe practicing some of your shots up against the bell here, you're running around, jumping around, practicing your movement in the game, and oh no, you fall off your ship and you're by yourself. What do? The fastest way to get back onto your ship is sail the opposite direction of what your ship is sailing. You keep swimming as fast as you can, and then eventually a mermaid will spawn in front of you just like that. Approach it, push your action button, which for PC is F, and it will automatically spawn you back onto your ship. You could use these in multiple ways if you have a crewmate with you, and let's say you're running low on supplies, you want to go somewhere quickly to restock, but you don't want to stop the ship because you have to sail to the other end of the map. You could also use the cannons to transport yourself, such as this. There's an island right there. I want to go there. You keep sailing. I'm going to jump into the cannon. I'm going to fire myself over to this island. The ship's going to keep sailing. I'm going to come here. I'm going to pick up whatever supplies I want from this island. My mermaid's going to spawn right there. Once I'm done cashing or getting all the supplies I want, my inventory's full again. I found whatever I wanted, right? I go here, I pick up that, I pick up that. Okay, good. My pockets are full. I go back to my mermaid using that sword lunge technique that I showed you before. And I board back onto my ship and continue going. At the end of your day of sailing, it is important to remind you that none of your ship, your supplies, or your loot will be waiting for you the next time you log in. So you always want to go and sell everything you can before logging out. So this is where you want to find the nearest outpost again. mark it, sail to it, find the dock, start slowing yourself down as you approach so you don't ram into the dock and put holes in your ship. As you are approaching, if you want to help guide yourself, let's say you stopped yourself a little bit short, you could actually use your harpoon, grab on, and then you could reel in with your right mouse button if you're on PC, or whatever your opposite, like your block button is on your sword for Xbox players. And that will bring you in nice and close to the dock. You grab your chest and you go turn it in to the representative that it belongs to. So because this is a chest, it will go to a gold hoarder. If it was plants, animals, cloth, gems, or anything like that, it would go into merchants. If it is a skull, it goes to Order of Souls. If it is a chest, a chalice, or anything like that, it goes over to your gold hoarder emissary, just like this. And then he will take it. He will give you some gold for it. And that will be that. At the end of your day of sailing, after all your loot is turned in, you want to make sure to lower your emissary flag. So whichever emissary you chose to represent and build up reputation towards for your day, there will still be a flag on the back of your ship that is actually worth money. Come back to the table to your representative, lower that flag, and it will cash you out as well. Lastly, if you go into your resources inventory, you will notice there's also a tab called events over here. Here's where you can track the daily deeds of the day, regular rewards, or the special events that are going on during your time. Make sure to keep an eye on these tabs, as sometimes they provide amazing rewards. During right now, the 12 deeds of giving, they're giving away different cosmetics just by completing these very simple tasks. And it is always a great idea to keep an eye on. If you're not sure what to do that day, tune in, look at the events page, see what's going on, and see what you could do to maybe switch it up from your regular daily sailing that you do. With that being said, that is going to wrap up our new player guide. I will be making a follow-up video for more advanced tips and tricks in the very near future. If you guys liked the video today, make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe to the channel for weekly Sea of Thieves updates, as well as come check out my stream over on Twitch. I stream 5 days a week, every Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We play Sea of Thieves. And if ever you want to join the crew, join the Discord. The link will be in the description below. Send me a DM, introduce yourself. Let me know that you would like to join me one day on Sea of Thieves, and we will make it happen. Thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you on the next one.